Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 1059. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Morning, Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
As you no doubt, well, maybe you didn't hear, but the little bulletin on only if you only heard it from Radio Free Skaro on Friday morning or night, get out more. Well, you never know, because people don't necessarily flock to social media anymore, which is why we put that thing out. We're down to 95 kids. 2 missing episodes of Doctor Who have been found and returned to the BBC, that being the Daleks Master Plan Episode 1, titled The Nightmare Begins, and Episode 3, titled Devil's Planet, announced this past weekend here. Thanks to the efforts of Film is Fabulous. Showed a special screening to Peter Purvis, who did not know what he was in for and was very pleasantly surprised. And just a wonderful, wonderful moment for Doctor Who fans, especially those of us who like stuff that we haven't seen from 60 years ago. Anyway, so it's coming to iPlayer at Easter. We don't know yet when it's coming elsewhere around the world. That is the gist of the highlight. We'll get into all this sort of thing. Tim Burrows is going to be on later. We'll talk about it. But your reactions, though, is what I'll get first.
I was going to say, we wait with bated breath for the announcement of Disney Plus's broadcast of these.
But then David Tennant showing up again, looking very, very messy haired, confused.
He'll show up.
Why am I here again? They'll just show him being confused.
He'll play one of the council. Yeah.
No, they'll oddly enough, they'll get Rachel Talalay to direct this one. He'll just stand in front of a blue screen, and it'll just be like the events of like the tail end of the Mythmakers or something that will be recreated with AI.
Even more confusing to everyone,
right? And it was years ago now. They just recount stuff, and then all of a sudden it just segues into part one.
So,
and then they drag him off screen as he starts describing the beginning of the TV movie. No, wait, I've got more.
Yeah,
another Tales of the TARDIS, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Will they cram that in? No, they won't. They won't do that. They will not do that. I suspect that. I don't know if that set's still around. Anyway,
that would be a perfect thing if they still had the Doctor Who exhibition to have that there.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh. Oh. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, missing episodes returned. What do you think, guys? Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I am a little disappointed because I'm a Doctor Who fan. That the Council of Weirdos, who I love dearly, like when we watched Dalek Master Plan for a miniscope. I can't remember the director's name, but come on.
Douglas Camfield.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd never really watched the Daleks, but I'd read the book way back when. And they described the council there, and it's just a council they describe. And then I see these freaks, and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are the best thing I've ever seen. Cool. So I'm disappointed there's not more of those guys, because they're the best.
Yeah, I think only episode 3 sees Zephon, who we saw defrocked by the Doctor in episode 2, of course, which came back about 22 years ago. So yeah, we don't see as many of those, but we're going to see so much more, Warren. Just you wait.
I mean, it's super cool, and it's which you're going to get into, the behind the scenes of it all, how this came to be.
Yeah, we will. But first, let's hear from Chris. Chris, there's missing episodes have been returned. Can you believe it?
I mean, can I believe it? Yes.
Yeah, I can too.
Over and above Scuttlebutt from the last however many years it's been.
10.
Yeah, I mean,
ever since the last ones.
More than 10.
Yeah,
more than 10. You're right.
2013. Yeah.
But with those, with the work that Film is Fabulous has been doing, and they've been very upfront about, we've got collections out there, and we're not going to say what's in them because they don't necessarily know what's in them. But in this case, we got 2 through their efforts, and even if they don't find any other ones, 2 is still amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. Phil, I mean, this is the beginning, sort of the Film is Fabulous era of Doctor Who missing episode returns, basically, and where we focus on the collectors, and they have been I mean, John Franklin's been very open and welcoming with me, sending me periodic updates and stuff, which is very kind of him. Just because, you know, we appreciate their efforts on this show, and you know, the right people are behind this task now, which is, you know, approaching film collectors in the UK, those who have sadly passed on, like this one anonymous collector did, or are looking for places to offload their collection to at some point because they don't want to deal with it anymore for whatever various reasons. And their approach is admirable because they don't just sort of cherry pick. I likened it to, like, you know, one day, sadly, I'm probably going to get rid of my Lego. When I'm getting ready to shuffle off this mortal coil, I'll probably think,
build a tomb out of it. Duh.
I thought about that. But if I'm sitting, you know, if I go in there, okay, I need to get rid of all this Lego. Can someone come in and get rid of it? And the wrong way to do it would be someone to come in, look at the whole collection, and go, okay, I'm going to take the AT-AT and the Millennium Falcon, and the rest I don't care about, so I'm just going to leave that with you. And that would be the bad way of going through someone's film collection, basically, is to sort of cherry pick. And they take the whole collection, they assess it, they take care of it, they sell it if they need to give, you know, there's many different options what they do. This one, they sort of took control of the archive of this anonymous collector. And of course, they found 2 missing episodes in it, along with 4 other episodes that already existed. But
we're maniacs for this stuff, but whatever else is in there, somebody's a maniac for that. So
yeah,
or has historical value or whatever,
or personal value. This person loved canals and trains. Yeah, and a lot of his films were of trains and canals, and find
some historical society in England could use that.
I find that charming. Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. You know, everyone has different interests, and I think it's just lovely. Yeah,
I hadn't actually heard the part where 4 other episodes were found alongside that were already existing.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
The Radio Times had it, and there were, I believe, 2 episodes of the Daleks. I think it was 2 and 3. I can't remember, and then also an episode of the Web Planet, and part 1 of the Chase. Thank God we found
your favorite
of the Chase.
High quality stuff,
which is amusing. Yeah, I think 2 of those might have been cutting copies too. I can't remember. We'll get into what cutting copies are in a little bit, but I mean, they've taken them as well because they might be better quality copies than what they have in the archives. I know I don't remember which episodes of the Daleks were. I think there's 2 episodes that are, and I've bored you with this before, so apologies, dear listeners.
Keep going.
And indeed hosts. But they might be what were called suppressed field film recordings as opposed to the preferred stored field film recordings.
How dare you say you're boring me with this? Come on now. This is pornography.
Yeah, in that they were like made to reduce the flicker of TV sets when they made the original telecine recordings. They basically had to make the thing a half as good quality, so they had basically eliminated those even number of lines, so to speak, so they wouldn't flicker on there, and therefore you get actually a smaller image, which is sort of blown out. So suppressed fields are inferior, and I know that I think 2 of the episodes of the Daleks are suppressed field recordings. I think it might be 5 and 7. I could be wrong about that. So if these are in fact new versions of it, I don't think they are either of those 2 episodes, but they could be better quality copies. There you go. Are you bored? Is that all right? Is that good enough for you, Warren? I'm so sorry.
Why am I the bad guy in this?
I don't know. No, you're acting as the potentially disinterested listener who's.
But I am interested.
Okay,
so
good. Okay, good.
Your whole, it all falls apart.
Chris, were you bored by that? Hopefully you weren't.
Who are you again?
Okay, good.
There you go. There's your foil.
Yeah, so those are returned as well. I don't know what else is in the collection. It was called Eclectic, according to the BBC Leicester press release, which is interesting. It was not, as Forbes' story on it was not VHS tapes. I saw an article about Forbes announcing this, and it says, yeah, they found a bunch of VHS tapes, because apparently they don't know that film cans exist. So anyway, yes. What else did you, Warren? You mentioned something else, cutting copies or something, or what else did you say?
You could explain to people what technical copies are, because that's what these are.
So that's what these are.
Those? I mean, yeah, I know what they are, but yeah.
Which opens up a bigger question, because we've sort of been up until now looking for film cans and bicycling and what what networks were they sold to and where they were they sent to after that. And, this is how we sort of found some in old TV stations. But so what a cutting I randomly watched a video last week about what a cutting copy was. So I feel mildly informed now. But basically, when you made a film, they would also make an immediate cutting copy so that if they would look at it and if they needed to make edits or something like that, they would do that to the cutting copy so they wouldn't wreck the original film master.
Yeah, that's what we usually do with film editing.
Yes.
Because then you go back to the negative and you conform it once you've got your final cut on it. That's where the term comes from. Yeah.
That's what the negative cutter does,
Yeah, exactly.
If you see that on the end
The
credits.
online editor in TV terms.
There you go. The online.
Not 100% the same, but close.
Yeah. Excellent context, Warren. And so these were the 2 episodes of the Daleks Master Plan were cutting copies. They weren't ones that were sent to Australia and sent back and when they were ejected in 1966 or whatever. These are cutting copies, which means they don't have paperwork associated to them because they would basically send it off to the lab. The original, they would make the telecine recording probably in December of 1966 is when they made a whole bunch of telecine recordings and sent it off to the lab, made a cutting copy to see if they needed to make any cuts for censors or anything like that. Of course, it was never sold to Australia, so these episodes are completely uncut. But that was just the process. They would basically make a one for sale and then a cutting copy if they needed to make some cuts and stuff. And so that's what these are. And we being the collective fan community, so to speak, have never really been looking out for cutting copies because there's no associated sales paperwork or wiping or junking things with it. So just
it's pure luck is how you get these.
A little bit,
more or less.
So now, I mean, what else is out there that's a cutting copy? I think John Franklin said on Tim Burrows' podcast that there is a possibility that some of the previous episodes that we've actually found are cutting copies as well that are just mislabeled on the wrong cans. This one actually has cutting copy on the label. It is a proper, actual, possibly original film can. Tim says that there is a label underneath the cutting copy label on the film can, but you can't remove the one on top without destroying the one underneath, so that's going to stay a mystery. But there could be other cutting copies out there, and some episodes that have already sort of been accounted for possibly are the cutting copies too. So it's very exciting. It's potentially very exciting and opens up a whole new avenue of film cans to keep an eye out for.
And insanity on the part of uninformed fans, which is coming if it hasn't already.
Well, I mean, we're all learning, I suppose, apart from the experts who already know. But, it's important to keep educated, I guess.
No, I'm just saying people will leapfrog past this to other spurious notions, I'm sure, because that's usually what happens.
It does, yeah. I don't know. How much do you think the ominrumour changed fandom? For those that don't know, the ominrumour back in 2013 is when word leaked out that there were either 9 or 90 missing episodes coming back to the archives. Yeah. Most of us chose to believe 90. And
I don't think it changed fandom at all. This is a fandom where in 1964, people wrote into the Radio Times about how Doctor Who isn't the same as it was from a year ago.
Right.
So I think we've always been a bunch of maniacs, and we deserve what we get. And we don't deserve this, frankly, because we're bad people.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, missing episodes are back. I'm just wondering when we don't want to throw to our little chat with Tim Burrows, who's of course at the event, but is on this podcast a little bit later. But I don't know. You cats have any other stuff to say before we throw that, and then maybe we'll get back to other missing episode stuff.
I do love how Toby Haydock, aka the father of lies, was able to get Peter Purvis in under completely false pretenses, and then they showed him, and just watching Peter Purvis's reaction was great.
Yeah. Oh, it was lovely. I know there was. There was an event in Leicester at the Phoenix Theatre, and they had acquired the 2 episodes, made quick digital transfers of them, and then were going to show them to Peter Purvis. So Toby Haydock was there, Oliver Crocker was there, Tim Burrows, Gav Rymill, Tim because he's done a lot of work for the mixed episodes, Gav Rymill because he's in on that, and he provides some technical expertise as well. The BBC were there, of course, to have a team, and then Toby Haydock would bring Peter Purvis in under the pretense that we're just going to talk to some students about what it was like to make TV in the 1960s, and then once they get in the door, Toby says, "I've actually lied to you, Peter. They found an episode of the Daleks Master Plan, and we're going to watch that now." And he was just, his flabber was Ghasted, as he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they watch it. They sit in the theater and they watch it, and he's, Peter Burrows is just, almost getting emotional watching this thing. And then at the end of it, Toby goes, "Okay, I've lied to you again. They've actually found 2, and now we're going to watch part 3." And it was just a wonderful event, like Peter Burrows himself said he's not been doing well. He was in hospital for a little bit with the flu. And this just completely perked him up, It just gave him a whole new lease of life for the day. It was just wonderful hearing tales about how all that went down.
One thing I found funny is I watched the Breakfast Time interview with Toby, and they talk about, and they introduce Peter first, and like, well, most of you know him from Blue Peter, because most people do know him from Blue, if they know him at all, right? But he was also on this TV show Doctor Who you may have heard of, and I'm like, found it funny that's the context in England.
Yeah.
Whereas we're just like, well, that's obviously Peter Burrows.
Yeah, I know.
Doctor Who.
He's from Doctor Who. What is this Blue Peter thing? Why does he keep showing up on these Blue Peter extras on Doctor Who DVDs?
Not to continuously go back to Doctor Who Celebration, which I'm going to do, but they would talk about Blue Peter in a celebration, and I had no clue what they were talking about. I'm like, what the hell is a Blue Peter? I was a very baffled 12-year-old.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So yes, so that was the event, and then of course it was announced on Friday morning in the UK, and it was just lovely. Lots of people just over the moon, happy about it. It was, the fact that I think the release was supposed to go at 6 a.m. UK time. BBC Leicester thought it was midnight, so the news got out, which meant a bunch of Brits who were about to go to bed stayed up way too late. And nothing got done on Friday in the UK, I think, from a certain...
Yes, everybody in the UK was unified in their love of 1960s Doctor Who. Absolutely everyone.
That or completely wiped out from staying up all night or, or staying up way too late. Anyway, the episodes will be coming to iPlayer at Easter, April 4th. There'll also be a special screening happening that same day. I'm hoping that the episodes drop on iPlayer before the screening because, if you're outside of the UK and you might want to watch these, it would be nice to have them earlier in the day.
If you're outside of the UK and you want to watch these, tough, theoretically.
And maybe if you want to record a podcast about them later that day.
I agree with all of this. I'm just saying, that's not a concern of theirs.
No, it's not right now, but I'm sure at some point they will be made available. But I mean, Chris, we were talking about this before we recorded. How do you sell two random episodes from a missing story?
Yeah. Before we tackle that, I was going to take a quick step back and just say that unlike 2013, where we had the lovely ominrumour to go along with what was actually found and brought back, and later discovering Web 3 was on the shelf and then it wasn't, and all that kind of stuff. I'm thankful we shouldn't need to go through all that kind of stuff again.
Nope.
But yeah, for Master Plan, these 2 episodes back in 2013, the day of the announcement or very shortly after, they were all on iTunes and whatever. But because Enemy and Web were, at least with Web 3 being a reconstruction, both were released in their entirety on iTunes. Great place to put them out digitally, fast, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, what do you do with two extant episodes from a 12-part behemoth where there's still 7 episodes missing?
Yeah.
One of which may always be missing because Feast of Stephen wasn't really sold abroad. Yeah, so iPlayer, to me, right now, makes the most sense. And I don't know if I'm going to get backlash by saying this, and I don't care if I do. I think there's a real chance that we won't see a commercial release of these until the Season 3 Blu-ray,
I think
whatever that's going to be. I would very much like to have the option to say, hey, here's my whatever, $2.49 an episode. I'll happily buy these. But if that's not out there,
I know. I mean, it's a limited market, but also I do feel like putting stuff on iTunes is probably a lot. You don't have to worry about packaging or anything like that. So you can just sort of bung them up on iTunes, or wherever you buy digital copies. And, it makes sense, but it also doesn't, because I'm thinking of as a fan. I mean, I would buy any random episode, I'd buy you found I would buy, not to bring this old Jessup up again, I would buy the 3.5 minutes of HD footage from the War Games.
Of course you would.
But how would you sell that on a thing? You couldn't. So
no. Yeah. Just business-wise, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It doesn't.
Unless you put it, like Chris said, on a box set. That's where it will probably end up, because it really is a great added bonus to a box set more than it is anything else. True,
but go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, I mean, for the DVDs, we had Lost in Time with all the, mishmash of missing episodes that were available at the time.
Yeah,
and I don't see that hitting Blu-ray.
No, there's no point. So. There's no point, because we'll have stuff. We'll have more stuff and we have I mean, there's. Yeah, go ahead, Warren.
As far as we know, there's no plans to animate the rest of it, is there?
Well, I mean...
Which would be great if they did. But.
I mean, it was John Franklin himself who said on Tim Burrows' podcast, several missing episodes exist in the hands of several different collectors. His stress
doesn't necessarily mean Daleks Master Plan, though. Yeah.
Doesn't, but until you know what's out there and what's not out there, I think, that, this is probably the thinking in why we haven't seen that many more... 60s collection sets coming out,
Well, there's the chatter that some people who have film cans that could be missing Doctor Who episodes don't necessarily want to come forward because of they fear repercussions from the BBC, which has never actually happened.
Put you in TV jail? What the hell? Come on.
But with these two episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, we shall. But with these two episodes, like if the backstory of the release and all that kind of stuff is handled the right way, and people can see that there's more value in getting these back into the archive than not, then maybe whatever else might be out there can be returned, and maybe even, sooner than later.
Yeah, it's important the film is fabulous is, because they've been doing great work, but also to be seen to do this basically outside of the BBC's involvement in that, there are no recriminations. Bob Monkhouse was a BBC comedian and also a film collector back in the day in the 1970s, and he was they found these and they took them from it and basically destroyed his film collection.
Oh, wow.
Because it was full of stuff like BBC property and everything. And I think a lot of film collectors still have that mentality in their mind. This is what happened to Bob Monkhouse. They're not taking my collection. Maybe I used to work for the BBC or some other TV station, and there were these unwanted film cans, and I just sort of took them because why not? They were just going to go in the dump anyway, so I might as well take them. Oh, look, now it looks like they're destroying these. They're seeking these out and destroying them, basically. Of course you would want to keep those. Of course you would not want to sort of say, hey, BBC, I've got some of your film cans. Do you want them back? I'm sure there'll be no repercussions. There aren't, but why would you, you wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to contact the BBC.
Also, if you worked in TV or film, as we have, in TV anyway, and that was in the 90s, if you worked in TV in the 60s and 70s, I'm sure it was even less pleasant. And so maybe you got a little trauma where that comes from, so it might not be rational, but it could be just like, oh, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yep, exactly. So this is why Film is Fabulous is doing great work at being the intermediary, basically. Just like, we will just take your collections if you want. We will, we will arrange something. They will be well looked after, and you don't have to worry about any repercussions.
The one obvious downside to all that is, depending on the size of the collection, it could take a long time to sort through whatever is there.
Some of them are big.
Especially if they're taking only entire collections.
Yeah, exactly. Which they are, as is right and proper. They have to be able to.
Yeah, that is the proper way to do it.
They do have to find, everything in there. And the wonderful thing is that I want to push this as well, because they are a registered charity now, the Film is Fabulous. And so a charitable trust run by film collectors. And we've said this before, we haven't said it recently, but you can actually donate to Film is Fabulous. Like money that fans donated. I think they started the push for this in October. They got their charitable trust status. You know, money that people donated most likely went to acquiring this collection and finding these missing episodes.
Including yours.
Including mine. We helped. We as a community financially helped to have Doctor Who missing episodes returned, and we can continue to do that at filmisfabulous.org.uk to do that. It's amazing work. It's you know, there's not many people. There's John Franklin, there's Justin Smith, there's Sue Malden, I think, and that's basically it. You know, it's and they, you know, they have to get money to hire, literally like just logistics, hiring vans, finding place to store these collections. I mean, you know, it sounds trivial, but it is essential.
No, yet keep it at a certain temperature. There's a whole bunch of considerations with film.
That too, storing temperature and everything. So yeah, they do great work. So the links in the show notes to the Film is Fabulous website if you want to donate, if you can. It's even a little bit helps them. And they obviously do very good work. They're also at the, I should mention while we're talking about the website, there's a great interview with Peter Purvis recorded on the day at the Phoenix Theatre in Leicester, and also one with Sue Malden that Tim Burrows talked about. They released that show a couple days before. Perhaps it's a teaser just to say, hey, remember Dr.
through it, and she talks about how guys, VT operators, were hiding tapes, and I'm like, oh yeah, this checks out. That sounds about right.
Do you remember those days, Oren? Remember hiding tapes?
Yeah, I sure do.
Yeah.
One other thing about the ominrumour, it seems, remember back in the old days, and certainly not now, sarcasm, when there was a terrorist event that might occur, you'd hear a lot of stuff in the news, chatter is up, and that was what the ominrumour was. Chatter was at a fever pitch, and I did not notice that kind of mania and derangement this time. It was just kind of like, oh, this thing happened.
That
was a little bit, but nothing like the craziness of the ominrumour days.
It was by design. I count myself as one of the few people that was sort of kept in the loop. John would send me a couple, emails occasionally, and not necessarily have all the details, but enough to just sort of keep me updated, which is very kind because we're just a podcast. We're in Canada. We're not helping directly with any of this, so it was very nice, and it was a trust that I cherished, honestly, and I didn't want to break. And very few people knew. I mean, I watched Toby Haydock's Patreon video that he put out as it happened, basically. He says, and he's recording literally waiting for the train to go to Leicester that morning. And he said that maybe a dozen people knew. Like a dozen people knew about this.
Interesting.
And that was so, just to keep it quiet so everyone would have this moment, this one collective moment of a new episode announcement. I'm not sure they can get away with that now. Now that I think the veil is a little bit off, I think a little more people will be looking for things. To which I say, let Film is Fabulous do what they're doing, because this is what they do, and they did it right, with no drama or any of that nonsense. They are doing the right thing.
And positive results.
Very positive results. Very positive results. So
a formula for how to do it in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The BBC showed a 3-minute montage of some of the clips, and I don't know about you, I watched about 40 seconds of one, and I thought, nope, I'm waiting until the episodes come back.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched none of it because exact same reason. I'm waiting to watch everything in context and complete, well, as complete as we have now, anyway.
Yeah, I did watch the 2-minute 25-second one, because I care less about this. I'm not as passionate as you guys are. That's a wrong way to put it, but I'm going to watch this stuff, but it's not. I'm not as pure about it as you guys are, I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah,
so, it was fine. It was interesting to watch.
Yeah,
because it's new.
Yeah, I know. As a historical artifact, I mean, it's Douglas Camfield. We get 2 more episodes of Douglas Camfield back in the archives directing Daleks. I mean, that is exciting. We're gonna have to revise our miniscope now. I think we're gonna just have
okay, let's do it all over again.
We won't, but we will review the episodes once they come out.
Of course, yeah.
Somehow we'll obtain them. Don't worry, we'll do it completely legally, I'm sure. But
As you trail off quietly.
Trail off a little bit. Yeah, but no, it'll be great. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of links in the show notes. If you want to watch the clips yourself, you want to watch Toby Haydock on BBC Breakfast talk about it and the story with Peter Purvis and such. And also stuff at Film is Fabulous as well. Simon Gary has written a lovely article for The Telegraph saying about why these lost episodes are worth getting excited about, and they're the Daleks Master Plan, man. Any more of those episodes coming out? The fact that there are no telesnaps were made of these episodes, so we are literally watching any images from these for the first time ever. There are characters in episode 1 and episode 3 that do not appear in any other episode, and they have no pictures of them. We are going to see these people for the first time since 1965. It's I'm very, very excited.
And it's the introduction of Bret Vyon, right? I think
it is. Episode 1 is the introduction. Yeah, with Nicholas Courtney, of course. So
it's kind of neat.
Anything else before we throw to the my chat with Tim?
Daleks Master Plan is kind of the holy grail of collectors, isn't it? Like, for whatever reason, partly because of Ian Levine going on and on about it, but also that not just that. It's like it's been one of the white whales, I think.
Yeah. I mean, particularly episode 12, I think, and probably episode 4 as well. But I mean, 5 of 7 episodes now exist of this 12-part story that was never sold abroad. I mean, it's astounding, you know? It's astounding. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I talked with Tim, a very sleep-deprived Tim Burrows, on Friday. Here's my chat with him about the missing episodes and, of course, the event where people saw them for the first time. And as promised, it's Tim Burrows on the line here, fresh off 4 hours sleep in the last 72 hours, based on everything that you've done. Tim, how are you doing?
Oh, wonderful. Really good. I mean, I'm tired, but that's a high-class problem to have, isn't it?
Right.
It's such wonderful news. I mean, it's been 13 years since we had anything like this unique feeling. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for everyone. It's congratulations, us. Really great.
Absolutely. I mean, you are the host of the Missing Episodes podcast. This is kind of your remit, and this is the first recovery announced during the existence of said podcast. So, does it feel like sort of like the culmination of sort of like a way of life, essentially?
It feels a bit intrusive. Because I'm used to talking about what happened in 1974 in Zambia,
right?
And it just feels a bit strange and weird, and a bit of pressure as well, because you don't want to muck up the coverage of it. It's just brilliant. And I'm in a very privileged position where I had a little bit of notice, so I could prepare. I could be ready with the sort of facts that we like to deliver in advance, which aren't everyone's cup of tea. But I hope we've put together a good package of information for people. And I had the extraordinary privilege of being able to interview Peter Purvis, fresh out of having watched these 2 episodes. And the biggest takeaway for me in all of this, well, the main takeaway from all of this is what it meant to him.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Peter at a couple of things, and he's always very professional. And he's always answering the stock questions and giving the rehearsed and well-known answers to questions, which is your favorite story, that kind of thing. But he was doing that on the interview with me. But what you all couldn't see is he had to keep stopping himself from beaming so he could talk. So you'll hear me laughing at one point where he says he was worried about Nick Courtney coming in because he thought he would be replacing him, but then he got killed by his sister. And he was just beaming. It was such a joy. Because the other thing as well is he didn't know why he was going to this thing, because Toby had lied and manipulated him, and he'd not been well. This isn't. He said that on the the podcast.
Yeah.
And when he walked out of there, he had his stick, but he was taking photos without his stick, and his face was flushed, and he was just so happy. And it just reminds you that there's more stakeholders than us nerds in this. You know, it meant so much to him. It was just an utter delight. And I'm really privileged to have been able to witness that. Really good.
Yeah.
Oh, and the episodes are bloody good as well.
Yeah, it's gonna, yeah. I mean, Toby Haydock did a great rundown on his Patreon page, which I'm not sure is available for the general public. So, and you could see, of course, the lead up to it on the official BBC report, but sort of describe the event as it was. It was in Leicester, so it's not exactly. It's I don't know how far Leicester is from where you live.
Well, you're not used to living in a large country like we are, Stephen. So it takes a couple of hours to get anywhere,
Heavens.
Leicester's smack bang in the Midlands, and well, I'm in Kent, which is down in the southeast.
Yeah.
So the event, the whole premise of the event was to get Peter there, to show him the episodes, and obviously generate some news content, and then announce. So that was Wednesday this week, and announce on the Friday. So yeah, we got there. There were only about maybe 10 people.
Yeah.
There. News people, a few people who are fans and podcasters, and Toby and Oliver Crocker was there, a TV historian, and the people who were there were just people who had talked to Film is Fabulous, helped out Film is Fabulous. I've done a bit of social media for them, and they're not in our world at all. They're not Doctor Who people. They're not TV people. So we are the Doctor Who people with whom they are familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an extraordinary privileged position. So we got there, and there is some footage knocking around of this, and Peter was taken to the front door by Toby, and he came in, and he was told at the front door, Peter, I'm afraid, because Peter was expecting to be at some sort of 60s media event and talk to students and journalists about what it was like being on TV in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And he was absolutely desperate to be there because he's good mates with Toby, and it sounded like a nice gig. So he got there, and he walked in, and Toby ambushed him on the door and said, "I'm afraid we've lied to you. We found a missing episode has been found," and Peter, his face changed, and Toby said, "It's the first episode of the Daleks Master Plan," and he just lit up. So then we went into this cinema. Everyone was sat at the back, and Toby and Peter were about 4 rows up from the front or something.
Yeah,
and I believe Peter was quite emotional. Anyway, he watched it, and then Toby says, "Well, we could watch episode 2 because we've got that, but I'm afraid I've lied to you again. We've got episode 3. You're kidding!" And it was so genuine. It was such a moment. And so we watched those, and then we sort of broke out of the cinema and went into the rest of the building, and the BBC did their little bits of interviews, and I was fortunate enough to be able to grab some interviews with well, first of all, Toby, Gav Rymill from Daleks 6388, and Oliver, and get their sort of fan reaction to having watched them. And then John from Film is Fabulous kindly gave 10 minutes on how the find came about. And then this 10 minutes with Peter, which was just so special. And then after that, we had a nice, relaxed sort of chat, and had photos with Peter and that kind of thing. And he was so made up.
Yeah.
And on the way out, he said, well, I think he said on my interview, I've not been well. He's even been in hospital with flu, and this has given him a real boost. And on the way out, he was emotional. He said, "This has been a life-affirming day. Thank you so much." And thank you, Toby. Thank you. Film is fabulous. And it was just wonderful. It's one of the, I don't want to be too gushing, but it's one of the best experiences I've ever had. It was so special. And the episodes hardly come into it for that. But the episodes are really good, Stephen.
See, that's the thing. You're one of about like a small handful of people who have seen them so far. I mean, it's even in the clips they have posted. They've posted about a 3-minute montage, I think, now on the BBC YouTube channel.
There's clips popping up every 5 minutes, it seems. So
I know.
People will be able to string it all together without waiting for April the 4th.
Yeah, it's remarkable the quality of an unrestored print that is from 1965 or 66 or whatever.
Well, I think so. When we were at Leicester, we saw the raw scan.
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't what's being shown on the news. So I think there has been some regrading done.
Right.
Because when we watched the prints, they were rather grey and pale. And so I think there's been some grading done, and there might even have been some digital cleaning done. I don't know. But there's definitely been something done. But what do we mean by restoration? Because when we get them on Blu-ray, they're vid-fired and intensely digitally cleaned. The dirt is removed digitally. Yeah. So there has been some work done for sure, because what I'm seeing on the news isn't what we watched in the cinema. But they're in good nick.
Yeah.
They're not having to stitch them together or anything. It's all there. Even the raw prints that we watched I didn't care. I didn't care. I mean, they're far better than, say, I know you won't have it, Stephen, but over in the UK on iPlayer, they've got some of the unrestored film recordings up on the iPlayer just because they picked the wrong file off the shelf.
I've heard it, like one of the Reign of Terror episodes or something is just dreadful.
Yes, it's awful. These were far better than those. So when it's gone through the whole process and the restoration team or whoever it is now get involved, they're going to look perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Make no bones about it. They're going to look great.
Yeah. I hope in the next few weeks, or hopefully next week to come, that John Franklin will be on here to talk about this perhaps more.
Oh, I hope so. He's a nice guy.
He is. But the one thing that he raised, and that is very curious about, is the provenance of all this, where it's, we just assumed it would be one of the film cans sent back from Australia and distributed about to various different BBC employees or something, but it's not. It looks like this is what's called a cutting copy. Can you expand on what this means to the future of finding other missing episodes, and what maybe a cutting copy is, I suppose?
Well, this is certainly a work in progress in terms of research. I mean, I understand that the archive are now going into their own written archives and trying to dig out what paperwork there was about the process. Mm-hmm. So it may well be. I don't know. I can't speak with authority because I'm not a film person. I mean, John certainly didn't think they were a returned Australia print. So just to explain for your listeners, if you're not aware, please. The Daleks Master Plan was never sold overseas at all. However, 11 of the 7 episodes, and we won't go 11 of the 12 episodes, and we won't go into why it was 11, but 11 was sent to Australia. And what would happen in the sales process? What would happen in the sales process is, if Australia bought it, they would pay the lion's share of the rights, like 90% of the rights. And that would allow other less wealthy, populous Commonwealth countries mainly to be able to purchase it for a percentage of the fee. And I think this was put in by Act of Parliament to support developing countries, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And so if Australia didn't buy it, it wouldn't sell anywhere else. And it just so happened that the Australian censors found too many instances of censorable material, horror or scares or violence or whatever, that they couldn't broadcast it in a coherent way. So that's why it was never sold overseas. So what happened to that set of prints is disputed. I think it was probably sent back to the UK, and therefore that's why we have what we have before recent events. But there's also one researcher who says he thinks it's still in Australia. So we just don't know. And we've never had multiple copies turn up because by an act of God, 2 copies were found in a Mormon church in the 80s. And then in 2004, a former BBC employee called Francis Watson wrote to Steve Roberts and said, "I've got this. Is it of any interest?" And he'd taken that from, I think, a sort of room full of junk in the BBC Ealing building. And it's the only one we have, and we don't have the original can for that, and we don't have the original cans for the 2 that were found in the Mormon church. And then now we have 2 more which have been found in a collection, which have cutting copy, so telerecording cutting copy on the label. It doesn't appear to be the only label on there. It looks to me like there's one underneath. So I don't know what that means. If it was sent overseas as an audition print, the BBC had audition print labels.
Right.
But it doesn't look like an audition print label underneath to me, but I'm no expert and we'll never know because no one's ever going to try and peel that label off.
Yeah.
They're just not. It's an antique. It's wonderful. So back to the original point, it says cutting copy on there. In the past, as far as I know, but all of the archaeology isn't available. In 1988, 4 episodes of the Ice Warriors were found in Villiers House at Ealing, and Villiers House was the base of BBC Enterprises, where all the dispatch overseas and return overseas happened. However, they found these cutting copies in a cupboard. I think they're the only ones that we know were labelled cutting copy. So, what is a cutting copy? Well, I'm just quoting. I'm quoting John, but there's a couple of ways a cutting copy could exist, and one of them might be when the original film recording happens, when they broadcast it, or when they record it. When they broadcast it, or afterwards.
Yeah,
it's sent to a lab to be developed and processed, and then a print is sent to BBC to see if it's any good, to quality check it. And they believe that this might have happened a number of times with one episode. If there was an error, or it wasn't technically up to scratch, or the sound wasn't good, and so it opens up this possibility that there are multiple copies of these things, and these weren't documented on BBC paperwork because it was managed by the labs. So it opens up a different understanding of how, in the public domain anyway, about how these things happened. And also, I found out during this process, or been reminded rather in this process, that cutting copies were also sent to Villiers House, where they had suites where overseas broadcasters would come and review an episode and say, could you take that bit out, that bit out, that bit out? And they would have been cutting copies as well. Now that wouldn't have happened with Daleks Master Plan,
right? Because
no one could buy it because they couldn't afford it. So it's just opening up these new avenues of thought about what happened 50 years ago. Now, just because there were copies around 50 years ago doesn't mean that you can walk into a building and open a cupboard and it's your Indiana Jones moment.
Yeah.
Because but it creates new ways for things to exist and be found in private hands. And John said on the interview, he suspects that there were far more cutting copies that we have now than we previously suspected. But this is all hot off the press, Stephen. All of this will be researched.
I know, yeah.
Film is Fabulous have their main remit, if you like, in terms of the charity, the charitable trust is to educate. So they're going to be researching this and writing papers about it and putting it on the webpage and on their socials. So it's absolutely fascinating. It's a real shot in the arm that that for me, is a nerd who loves hearing about this stuff. It's just all these new ways of thinking about things, and it has the potential to turn our understanding of how things happened on its head a little bit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this might be wish casting at this point, but for the longest time, and I've always maintained that for lazy reasons, this was never the case. But for the longest time, everyone just assumed, well, the Feast of Stephen, episode 7 of the Daleks Master Plan, was never intended for broadcast international sales, so they probably never even made a film copy of it, and it is likely gone forever.
Well, we know Enterprises didn't get a copy. We know that's in the paperwork.
Right.
So there was no practical reason to take a copy. That's what we know.
Yeah.
So it probably was never done. But sorry, I interrupt.
But there might have been a cutting copy at some point. The reason I've always argued against this is because I used to work in TV, and if you tell a technician, can you make new stored field film recordings of all of these episodes, which they did in December of 1966, everyone would just sort of go down there, read the paperwork, pick all these 2-inch reels up, and make film copies of them. And laziness. The same type of laziness that prevented people who made telecine recordings of the John Pertwee episodes and were supposed to turn the color signal off so they wouldn't cause all those distortion on it, and only did so once for the one episode of The Mind of Evil. That's the sort of thing that sort of leads me to believe that, of course, they just made a film copy and just says, I guess they don't need this anyway. Well, it might not exist today.
They might have done, but it's one reason less for it to exist. And this was 60 years ago, and it's not turning up. So,
no.
But I don't know. I mean, Daleks Master Plan is such a survivor, isn't it?
It's amazing.
It was never meant to be. It was never sold overseas. It survived that. It's to have been found by an act of God.
Yep.
We've got these copies recently, which there's a human story to this, and they were found in this estate of a deceased collector, but we're not even sure he knew he had them because he's not projected them.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell. I don't know how. I don't think they're doing fingerprints, but they can just tell by the wear on the print or what condition it's in. He's not projected them. But there's another weird detail in all this, which nobody really is pointing out, is that somebody, and we don't know whether it was the most recent owner or prior or whatever, has written the executioners on the can.
Which is an episode of the Chase.
Is episode 1 of the Chase.
Uh-huh.
So that's another so it's been mislabeled and it's still turned up. So the rest is out there. I mean, Feast of Stephen's going to turn up in the Yukon under an ice rink. And we'll be like, what on earth does this mean? How can this be? It's a survivor, Daleks Master Plan. It's got to be all out there. Come on, Daleks Master Plan.
Right? I mean, you've wetted our appetite out. You're almost halfway there. You might as well just get the rest of them in there.
We're almost halfway there. And, I mean, nobody really cares about episode 9. So we don't need that one. William Hartnell's hardly an 11. I know there's some delegate stuff, but just give us 4 and 12. Come on.
I know.
It's out there. It has a will to live.
It has to be at this point. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the fan in me takes over, as you can tell. It's such stupendous. It's such a stupendous feeling having these things turn out to exist where you always sort of thought they didn't, but hopes they might. It's the hope that kills you. And and they're here. And it's all due to people caring about these films when they were due to be junked at some point and thinking this is too good to go to be thrown out. I'll have it. And look, and it's had probably a chain of custodians over the years who have, I don't know, someone sold their entire collection and someone buys it up and then they accrue a box of Doctor Who or whatever it is. But this collector wasn't a Doctor Who fan.
No,
he likes trains. And I believe the majority of these thousands of film cans were about trains. And they don't think he projected it, but that's what happens as this film collecting community, as John calls it, gets smaller. The films either get thrown out or they end up being hoovered up by another collector, and they just sit in boxes in sheds.
Yeah,
and that's why that's why the work that Film is Fabulous are doing is so wonderful, because they're not in it for the treasure. They're in it just to preserve the films and the collections as they are, because a collection can reflect someone's life. Like this collection has got a load of transport films in there because that was his passion.
Mm-hmm.
And how wonderful is it for us that they just so happen to be aware that we have needs, we have requirements, and they're very generously just doing that for us for free.
Yeah.
On a voluntary basis, and of course it's big news, and they'll recognise that, and hopefully Doctor Who fans can support their work, because they don't have to do this.
No,
I've been really nervous about a bad reaction in some sense, because there's no, they won't do it because they're normal people. But if there's some adverse reaction, there's absolutely nothing to stop them from taking umbrage, and saying, "Oh, sod this! I'm going to look after the train films. We can, we'll just sell the rest."
Yeah,
and they're not doing that. And so I just hope that if fans can, they give them some space to operate. No, next week, nobody needs to be on their Facebook page saying, "Have you found any more Doctor Who?" Nobody does.
Nope.
It won't make a difference. The thousands of people who have asked in excitement, and I'm not knocking them at all. I get the excitement, honestly, I do. But the thousands of people who said, "Have you found any Doctor Who?" in the last year haven't made it happen any quicker. It's just happened because it's happened.
Yeah.
So I just hope that fans give them some space, but also if they can, they're working as volunteers. They need to hire vans. They need to sometimes buy collections because there might be an estate that requires a payment. Sometimes it happens the other way around, I think. Sometimes they want to clear the house and then they'll sell them and give the money back to the estate. But sometimes they will need some money to make purchases, I'm sure. And it's just wholesome and brilliant and generous of them, and they've given us the best gift ever. So if fans can support them, head over to their website and give them a $5.
Yeah.
Because it can't do any harm. It shows goodwill, and you yourself might play a little role in helping them find something else which we all care about. There's no guarantees in that.
No.
But it gives us the best chance we've ever had.
I mean, it does. I'm probably guessing at this point, but I think probably the contributions that they received in the past few weeks since they've been able to accept donations probably helped contribute to this find coming back. I mean,
well, sure. I mean, everything helps grease the wheels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they've been so professional about it. They've not been glory seeking. They've not been gossiping. I'm making no point about anyone or anything other than in 2013. I'd heard, because it was broadcast all over Gallifrey Base, about Web of Fear in March.
Yeah.
And we had 6 months of hell and everybody getting angry.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the person involved was disincentivized by that. And it wasn't until the October that we got to see them. And it's been hell since, and in this instance, they found the stuff a few weeks ago. They've had it scanned. They've done a nice, perfect event with Peter Purvis.
Yeah.
2 days later, everybody gets the news. I'm sure half the BBC didn't know about this. And in 3 weeks, everybody can watch it because that's as fast as they can go. Isn't that perfect?
It is wonderful. It is
and
wonderful.
And they've been so professional about it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they're not engaged and as frothy about it as we are.
That's right.
But it's been so well done. And, I've been nervous enough as it is since I knew, just hoping it didn't break so that everyone can have the moment together. And also it doesn't disincentivize Film is Fabulous, because they want their moment as well. Of course they do. But it's just been such a joy. The whole thing. And today has been remarkable. I just can't keep up trying to see everybody celebrating and putting out their bits of content. It's just brilliant. They're not, I want to say once in a lifetime things. On a personal level, it has been a once in a lifetime thing, but on a fan level, they're once in a decade things. Not for old blokes like us, Stephen.
No.
Still bear the scars of decades. But how exciting for a 20-year-old Doctor Who fan to experience this for the first time. I'm jealous.
Yeah,
it's so exciting.
I know a friend of ours. It was a relatively recent Doctor Who fan. She said that, oh my God, this is my first ever missing episode recovery. It's like that's like a special moment for her. It's everyone has their first Doctor, and now like everyone has their first missing episode memory as well. It's kind of
Well, in 10 or 20 years, they'll be boring people to death about it the same way we do about Stephen, do you remember 2013? Oh God, what times?
Yeah,
what times? This is. I don't think it's too hyperbolic to say, but this in a small but important way is history in the making, and I love it. It's brilliant. And the new stakeholder in my awareness now are the actors, or the actors who care anyway, and being no doubt that Peter was shook in the best way. It was so nice. I'm so privileged to be able to have seen it, but you can all see it too. You can all see bits of it too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Toby will be talking about it for the rest of his days because he was the master planner. He was the main conspirator. But yeah, so good. So good. Congratulations, everyone. It's so good. And when you see them, boy, are you in for some surprises. Wowee. Wow.
Cannot wait. I hope that...
things we could not even imagine, Stephen. You will fall off your seat at one point.
I mean, I hope, and this is outside of your purview, and even John. I asked John Frank because I had no one else to ask, because I think it was he who was pushing hard for it to be on iPlayer and like to be available as soon as possible for the general public. I hope that people outside of the UK will have a legitimate means to access these episodes in short order.
I mean, again, I'm in a privileged position because I'm here. But then again, I saw a lot of concerned Australians and a bit of anxiety about when they can watch it. But there's a little bit of me that thinks, well, they've all seen the Space Pirates 5 times. I haven't seen it.
You had your chance.
You can be sure that I don't know how it will happen, but you folks in Canada and the US and Australia, you'll get to see it.
Oh yeah,
get a VPN.
Oh, don't worry. Well, we'll be all over it. But I had to check. It's like episode 3 is, I believe, the last episode of the 1960s. It got more than 10 million, and I'm wondering, will we be able to top that in views in 2026?
Maybe.
Maybe. With the amount of people around the world probably watching it, let alone the UK. It'll be a wonderful moment on Easter weekend. That's for sure, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, Tim, thank you for sparing some of your many waking hours over the past week to chat about this. I watched your episode about all this. I look forward to whatever other episodes you have about this.
I've got to do some. I'm obligated to do something. I don't know quite what yet, but there'll be something. There'll be something.
Excellent, Tim. Well done. Rest up. You've done well, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Tim. I have to admit, I recorded with Tim, and then he did a live stream for his Patreon supporters, of which I am one. And so I watched that. I didn't join in. I would just listened, but I was listening to that while I was like putting together the actual podcast with Tim. So what was said in that interview and what he said later in the live stream, literally an hour after that, has all blended together in my mind. But Gav was going to join us, but had to. It was a last minute backing out. But he's put out a couple wonderful videos of what to look forward to in these 2 episodes of Doctor Who. I mean, both with Tim with missing episodes and Gav, part of the course the Terran Nation Army, Daleks 6388. Oh, there's going to be some gold. There's going to be.
He's known for his thoroughness. So yeah.
Yes, there's going to be some gold coming up from both of those channels. I eagerly anticipate what they have. So there. Missing episodes. Anything else? Yep. Anything else in this wonderful thing about missing episodes?
Well, I'm just wondering what Flabbers thinks about all this.
I'm not wondering that, and I continue to not wonder it.
It is amusing you say that because Phil Morris. Let's be charitable and say that
give him his due. He did find those 2 stories.
Sure.
And then he became a maniac.
Which is
a public one anyway.
The sad thing. And now people sort of come out of the woodwork and says, oh, I did this, and oh, I knew about this as well. And just today, we record this on Saturday, he tweets a picture of himself in front of the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. He says, wow, 12 years ago, almost to the day, I visited Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation for the first time. Like basically trying to sort of say, I know I've been, a complete horrible person.
I don't think he's saying that at all.
Online. No, he hasn't. He's not apologizing.
And as somebody who went to the KSPS station as a holy grail, I game recognized game on being at the Sierra Leone. Like, that's kind of cool in and of itself.
It's such a shame that he went off the deep end when it comes to this. But and now he's basically
things,
yes, and now he's just like saying, "Oh, I saw missing episodes too."
That's just kind of a little sad, really.
A little bit.
But Sierra Leone, like visiting a TV station in Sierra Leone, that just in and of itself is kind of rad to me. So.
True, but he's trying to. I think he's trying to get back in the good books. But listen,
too bad.
Unless he's sitting on something else, you best just stay out of this, Sir Phil Morris.
Something that could incriminate Nigel Farage, preferably.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be great.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Anyway, shall we move on to
much more important news?
There's other news. Yeah, April 4th, of course. iPlayer also is screening. We'll do our best to watch the episodes in some way, shape, or form that weekend and review the 2 new episodes when it comes out. But very, very exciting times. What a time! Already, it's the best Doctor Who I will have seen at Easter for the first time in a long time. Sorry, Planet of the Dead and Legend of the Sea Devils. You are officially replaced by
Easter, yeah.
You are officially replaced by something I have never seen. So
your beloved Legend of the Sea Devils, yes,
right, yep. Let's talk about some not quite action dollies, but some cool dollies. So EagleMoss, remember them? They used to make figures for the Doctor Who figurine magazine, and they have recently come back and are making things, and they're now accepting pre-orders for this collection, this amazing collection, 120 pounds worth. But wait, they are a triple pack of Voris the Vogan from Revenge of the Cybermen, Noma the Jacondan from the Twin Dilemma Baby, and Kronos from the Time Monster, rather.
I love this because these are 3. Sorry, Liz Miles, but these are 3 less popular creatures. And what I love about EagleMoss and this whole thing is that these figurines, because that's what they are, they look good. This Mondesian Cyberman they have underneath here, and there's a Bilal one. They just go for the most obscure jerks, and I just kind of love it.
Like the Happiness Patrol cleaner robot. I mean,
exactly.
Paradise Towers, rather.
Yeah, you're never going to get, and nor should you from character options, because it's just too much work, right?
Yeah.
But they can just go, okay, we're going to make this thing that doesn't move. Here's a statue of Bilal.
Yeah.
So if you're a Bilal stan, then here you go.
Yeah, they're amazing stuff. It's available for pre-order. Like the people who buy this are the people who would buy. Like, throw 2 random episodes of Doctor Who on iTunes. I will buy them. I will 100% buy them. Put them on a Blu-ray of just
it wasn't $200 Canadian or whatever. Like I'd be sorely, I am sorely tempted to be honest with you, but I'm not going to do it.
I know.
Well, the Vorus one, I mean, just the detail looks great, and I love the just the way the Kronos one is done.
Yeah,
I like that the wings look like the paper it's made out of.
Yeah. Yeah,
they look really great.
They do look amazing.
Good. Yeah. These are very well done.
It's just whatever I just like where I need a Twin Dilemma place. Surely they have a mess store. If they've got a Jacondan out here, surely a mess store is out there somewhere.
And it could double as a track. Here, listen to me, character options. That you could take that, change it around a bit, change the head, and you got yourself a Tractator. Come on.
What about the Sylvester twins? What about
the Sylvester twins?
That's really, you could just print out the same thing twice. There you go, done. Just change their colors and their outfits.
What's his face? Time Lord, or
Azrael.
Asmael.
Yeah, sorry. Pardon me. Oh, what a faux pas.
Yeah. What about Lieutenant Lang in a hotel room?
Stop it. There's so many. There's so many. Twin Dilemma. God, have we done a little Twin Dilemma yet for commentary? No, we haven't.
I don't think so. I mean, Chris and I voluntarily forced ourselves to watch it.
That's true.
Yep.
And the tradition now is that we have to go through and watch bad Doctor Who because him and Kat are visiting. That's just the way it is now.
That's true.
Yeah. We haven't done any of the first three Colin Baker's Twin Dilemma, Attack, and Vengeance. So
my
not yet been
God.
Done.
Wow.
So they're on the list for whenever.
So,
Stephen, if you and Eric are here and Chris and Kat are here, we have to find the worst possible Doctor Who to watch. I don't know what that would be, but...
Okay, we'll figure something out.
Fear Her?
Oh, no, something fun.
Something
fun, you know?
Time Lash?
Time Lash.
Yeah, maybe we should save time. Okay, we're saving Time Lash.
Time Lash or Time Flight.
Yeah.
Or kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. 'Tis true.
That we haven't gotten to, that is.
No, we haven't yet. Anyway, what else? What else we got out of this crazy week here at Doctor Who? There's
Murray Gold.
Murray Gold in the in the Doctor Who newsletter. It seems like it's a Doctor Who newsletter exclusive because it's still unlisted on the YouTube page. So the link's in the show notes, kids. But Murray Gold takes the ultimate Doctor Who music quiz, where the two hosts ask Murray Gold to name the music that he wrote. Basically, play and he mostly gets it right because, you know, he's written a lot of music and sometimes he goes, was this from Capaldi or no, it's from Matt Smith and stuff. So, yeah, fun little thing, fun little addendum to his appearance on the Whoniverse show last month. I'm curious to see what the Whoniverse show does for their next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Given that they've almost exclusively focused on what's new. And you know, this obviously the return of the two missing episodes being the big thing now in Doctor Who land. Will they focus on that? Will there be an episode focused on that? I wonder.
Get Toby Haydock on there. He hasn't been on there yet, and I think he should be.
No, he hasn't been on there. No. So maybe
he's a good ambassador of Old Who.
He is a great ambassador of Old Who. That's why he's always on the BBC to talk about it and stuff. And yeah, he did a great job on BBC. Although every time he's on BBC Breakfast or some other like sort of, you know, mainstream show, I always worry about, don't cut him off. He's saying something interesting. Don't just say, so what, other missing episodes? What's this? And just like, what's a Doctor Who? Okay.
That's, you're on local news. Like, and people are just waking up in England
who
don't care about this. Let's be fair here. Like, you know, yes,
I know.
He's as much of a specialist, well, he's way more of a specialist than we are. And we're pretty bad.
No.
So, I mean, so yeah, you're never going to get that off regular television.
No, but he is great at curtailing the instincts that I know exist between.
Absolutely, yes. That's why I say he's a good ambassador. He understands how all this works.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, if I was to be on BBC Breakfast, I wouldn't utter the phrase stored field or suppressed field recordings on there, okay?
This reminds me, just as a side note, a friend of mine was an economist, and he was complaining about how everybody on CNBC, well, these guys don't know economics. I'm like, well, that's why they're on TV. Like, actual economists would bore the living hell out of everyone. I mean, these guys are actual economists, but you're on there because you're good at TV first and good at economics second. Yep. You put somebody who's a college professor on, they're going to last 10 seconds before they boot him off the air.
Yep.
That's just how this is.
It is, yeah. So Toby's a good mix of obsessive Doctor Who nerd and also a person who can speak in complete sentences.
As a comedian, he knows how to choose his words properly and with the greatest effect.
That's true. Let's talk about some Big Finish stuff before we get the hell out of here. The newest 13th Doctor audio drama is out. It's called The Violet Hour, not The Violence Hour. The Big Finish has tweeted this.
That'd be a good title.
I know. The Big Finish has tweeted this out. Apparently, there's a little bit of a little romance between Yaz and Tasman. Or a scene hinting at it.
I was gonna say romance between Yaz and Tasman.
I know.
That's something, all right.
That would be something. Yaz and the 13th Doctor. That is just sort of explored in this most recent installment of it.
Good.
So how cool is that? Interesting listening. Also, as per tradition, when they release one of the 13th Doctor audios, they announce the next one, and the next one is called Aegis. There's the Doctor, and there's I just keep calling her Thaz now. Yaz.
In a suit, which is a good Yaz.
I like that. I like that suit with the hair up and stuff. And
that's from when they were in the 1800s, right?
I think it's at least based on that. Yeah, at least it's based on that. And then there's a robot there with claws.
With claws.
Yeah. So who knows what that is? But it is in this pivotal story, which marks the midpoint of the 12-episode full-cast audio drama series. The secrets behind the tourists will be revealed. Well.
Dun, dun, dun.
That comes out in May from Big Finish. And lastly, there is a new full-cast audio drama coming out, Time War Daleks vs. Cybermen, which is coming out in March of 2027.
Yeah, another year. That's a pre-announcement, all right.
My immediate thought was George Harrison in The Simpsons going, "It's been done," because it was in proper Doctor Who way back when.
That's true.
Which is a proper Doctor Who.
Yeah, but you look at the the cover is like darkened silhouettes of a Dalek and a Cyberman, and the Cyberman looks like Invasion Cyberman.
That's true.
So,
got the balls on his arm, so
yeah, a little bit, but you could tell by the chest unit is definite Invasion era, and the helmet and everything. So that's kind of exciting. What's going on there?
In audio form, you can have a giant war, because I remember the big complaint was the Daleks and the Cybermen meet in a hallway, and I'm like, that's kind of perfect, frankly. But that's Doctor Who in a nutshell. But
right.
But I can see why you'd want to have the wide, expansive thing, which you can get in audio. So
yeah, you can do that.
I just like it. One of the episodes is called Love Story.
Oh.
Don't know why.
I hope it apes the 1969 or 1970 movie Love Story with Ryan O'Neal and what's her name? I can't remember her name now. What the hell? Ally McGraw.
Ally McGraw. Yeah.
It just strikes me as an odd episode title name.
Yeah.
Well, not if you're ripping off the 1970
That's
big hit.
In Warren's mind, yeah. Or maybe it's just a love story between Daleks and Cybermen. Maybe it'll be like Enemy Mine, and there'll be a Dalek and a Cyberman, and they'll fall in love on an abandoned planet somewhere.
Warren, maybe this is why you keep not winning the Paul Sprague Memorial Short Trips submission.
Because I keep ripping off old stuff?
Ripping off.
Like Love Story.
Like Love Story, yeah. Here's my pitch. Love Story, but the Dalek and the Cyberman.
Done. Speaking of Ryan O'Neal, Stephen, you'll appreciate this. Maybe you will too, Chris.
Here we go.
I did get to see Barry Lyndon on the big screen this weekend. It was, for a 3-hour movie, that goes by pretty quick.
Love it. Love Barry Lyndon.
It looks great. Like, newsflash, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it does. Steven and I both have bought the Criterion 4K, and oh, yes.
Yeah, I have the iTunes 4K, which also looks quite good, but not as good as seeing it in the theater. Full house. Everybody, a lot of Kubrick heads there.
Get out. Full house for Barry Lyndon? Wow.
Yeah, and it was, the thing is, the Hollywood Theater, which I recommend everybody go to if you're in Vancouver, it's like half bar, where you can sit up there and drink while you're watching, which is what we did, and then half proper movie theater. And so we get to some beer from the guy at the bar, and he's a total Kubrick head. He's like, yeah, there's gonna be some pointless zooms in this, and he's listing off all the Kubrick stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, this brother gets it. Yeah.
No, every zoom, there's a meaning behind every one.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to give you this beer, and I'm going to stare right at the camera while I'm doing it. I'm like, yeah.
Kubrick, tell me more. Is there a connection between Barry Lyndon and Doctor Who? I can't remember.
No, maybe.
I think there is. Oh, wait a minute. What's his name? The guy who played Billismager in Torchwood is in it.
Not everything has to have a connection.
No, really. We're talking about it's a Doctor Who podcast. I got to find a connection.
I know. But
I think you'll find the connection is that Ryan O'Neal starred in Barry Lyndon and in Love Story, and has now been transitioned to Big Finish's Love Story.
That's AI true. Voice. They resurrected him.
That's true. Died recently. So. Well, there you go. On that note, that's it. That's it for this episode, everyone. Holy crap. Missing episodes are back. Down to 95. Daleks Master Plan, Part 1, Part 3, coming at Easter. Very exciting time for Doctor Who fans of a certain age, and hopefully, I mean, our friend Heather Berberet mentioned in a Slack that we're in that this is her. You know, she became a fan after 2013. This is her first missing episode experience. Like,
wow,
what a wonderful moment to have for a fan. You know. Like they've just assumed that all these things are always there, and now all of a sudden there's more, which is pretty cool.
Well, and our friend Kieran Hyman, who's like a noted colorist and very good at it, but he's in his mid-20s, and he loves 60s Doctor Who. It's his favorite era. So I mean, it's not just oldies like us.
Kieran's an old soul, to say the least. Yeah,
he is. Yeah.
And as much as I don't want to disparage any Doctor Who episodes, and I would love to see everything come back. At least this is better than an episode of The Underwater Menace.
Beggars can't be choosers now.
Nope.
It's not yet another Morecambe and Wise that was lost to time.
Yeah.
Again, there's Morecambe and Wise fans out there. I'm not begrudging them, but
I would happily welcome the return of anything that is not currently available.
Exactly.
I want to see proper Feast of Stephen, even though we never will, just because the animated ones hurt and in fact break my brain.
That's true, they do. Well, we'll see. We'll see what kind of magic Film is Fabulous can rustle up. But if it's anything like these two episodes, it's going to be a very, very good time indeed. So, in the meantime, and in between time, though, kids, I'm Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.